he's really going to get hurt. I'd say, you know, when he hit him so many times with a left, he's going to be crying for a right.
If I don't get respect from Nigel Benn outside the ring, Sertal again inside.
Guarantee when I see you on the 23rd, Watson, you ain't going to have no eyes to look out of. I'm telling you, you are in serious trouble.
The late 1980s, an era that marked a thrilling chapter in British boxing history. The middleweight division was on fire, led by two of the sport's biggest names, Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank, each carving out their place in the spotlight.
This man is nothing but, he's the real hype. I come up the hard way. I did a friend by myself, boy. You had your time. Let's have some parliamentary procedure here, right?
But as the excitement reached its peak, a new contender was rising through the ranks. For one of these established warriors, a fight was looming that would push him to his limits.
Would you like to fight, Ben?
Whenever they can fix the match, I'll be willing.
If he thought he was ready for world title, he wouldn't dare mix it with me. You know, because now I'm going to ruin his career.
Nigel Benn. Unbeaten, untouchable, a wrecking ball in human form. 22 fights, 22 knockouts. Not a single man had lasted the distance with him. Benn had built a reputation as one of the most dangerous men at middleweight. He was a ferocious buzzsaw-type fighter who never stopped trying to tear your head off. They called him the Dark Destroyer, and with every crushing punch, he proved why.
The most exciting prospect in British boxing at the moment, Nigel.
You've got to be very, very hard to beat that era. It was the most wicked, amazing time in boxing. The best time that I think boxing was cooking.
He could be saved for the clock there now. He's got to get it under control, Ben, but it's...
He tore through the competition, picking up the Commonwealth middleweight title along the way, a belt he defended with the same ruthless ferocity that had become his trademark.
He nailed him there, and he made it, though. He's just got 10 seconds.
Then the Dark Destroyer. Well, he wasn't a boxer. That's the first distinction. He was a fighter.
Fighters knew the risks of standing across from the Dark Destroyer, but that didn't stop Ben from carving through the division with ease. But for every unstoppable force, there's a challenger waiting in the wings, a fighter ready to test the limits of greatness.
Really, I'd like to fight against Michael Watson, Harold Graham, Johnny Melfa, defending the Commonwealth title. Now that's what the British public want to see. You know, they want to see a lot of fight a lot of Americans that they haven't heard of.
Watson's rise was marked by discipline and determination. Born and raised in London, he wasn't just another fighter, he was a craftsman in the ring. With an amateur pedigree and a sharp boxing IQ, Watson quickly made his mark in the professional ranks.
Things were coming out gently. Things were coming out, you know, as he got confident, his natural ability started to show. He had good ring craft, he had a good thinking brain, nice jab, good left hook. Everything clicked. In time, everything clicked together.
As his record grew, so did his reputation. He wasn't just winning, he was outclassing his opponents, proving that the sweet science was as much about brains as brawn.
Michael never trained his hardest, I don't think, in the gym. You never saw him, you know, he was always relaxed when he was sparring. He never showed any true aggression when he sparred. You know, but when he fought, it was a totally different person.
With a record of 21-1, Watson had positioned himself as one of the most promising contenders in British boxing. And now, he stood on the cusp of his biggest challenge yet, Nigel Benn.
I'm more of a classier fighter than Nigel Benn. I'm the sort of fighter, I work behind my left hand, and you know, I'm more of a quality fighter than Nigel Benn. I can also punch as well.
Would you like to fight, Ben?
Whenever they can fix the match, I'll be willing.
This was more than a fight. It was a showdown of styles. Power versus skill. Raw aggression against careful planning.
First of all, if Watson was ready for a world title shot, he would have gone straight there. Because if he thought he was ready for a world title, he wouldn't dare mix it with me. You know, because now I'm going to ruin his career. when he mixes with me under 24.
There's no way I can see this fight going just to you. So I'm in the fit shape of my life and I'm rearing to go.
The Commonwealth title was on the line, but there was so much more at stake: pride, legacy, and a place among the best in the sport.
Because I want to prove to everyone in India that I'm the best middleweight around. You know, everyone's talking about world title shot, isn't it? First of all, like I said before, from day one, I want to clean up Britain and clean up Europe. Then I can concentrate on the Americans.
It's pride. I haven't got the recognition that it deserves. I've been very underestimated. And I want to go in for this fight. Nobody's seen what I can really do. You know what I mean? And this is a great opportunity for me to go out there and box to my full potential.
However, for this one, Ben was a clear favorite against Watson, having annihilated all 22 of his former opponents by way of knockout.
He's really going to get hurt. I'd say, when he hit him so many times with a left, he's going to be crying for a right.
If I don't get respect from Nigel Benn outside the ring, certainly again inside.
He was more concerned about his hair than he was about Michael Watson. He should have been more concerned about Michael Watson.
I'm in the greatest shape ever. I mean, if I stop Ben, it'd come like a bonus. But I'm ready to have a really good time.
Guarantee when I see you on the 23rd, Watson, you ain't gonna have no eyes to look out of. I'm telling you, you are in serious trouble.
May 21st, 1989. The air was electric at Finsbury Park, the sold-out arena packed to the rafters with fans hungry for action. Two men, both British, both warriors, were about to step into the ring and leave everything behind.
Siren going there.
From the opening bell, Ben came out like a man possessed. He charged forward, bobbing and weaving with relentless energy, each step closing the gap between him and his target.
Style there, holding the hands up. Watson has to survive the dangerous early round. That seems to be the only concern with his management. He's not been negative, he's thrown good punches. He's looking at Ben all over. The crowd is just...
But Watson was no easy prey. He didn't panic. Behind a fortress-like defense, he stood firm, absorbing the onslaught with calculated precision. One heavy shot saw a response from the other.
Half a minute to go then. In this. Well, it's got to be Ben's round and the amount of punches. Yeah, well, Ben's punching power is no secret, obviously.
By the end of the first two rounds, it was clear that this was a battle of wits in the middle of a storm. Ben was the storm, Watson the chess player.
Although Ben doesn't schedule for 12, but let's face it, unlikely to go that high. Minute to go in the second. Position. They're really sinking those in, Jim. You normally would, but that was a good shot from Ben.
Round 3 saw a more active Watson, stepping up with sharp, stiff jabs that kept Ben on notice.
They gave respect for Watson the way he was countering. Watson, doesn't he? Good cover-up stuff. He doesn't normally.
His tight, shell-like defense gave him a strong platform to counter from, picking his moments with care.
Minute gone in the third round. So by now all those... they can fight and punch a bit.
Still, Ben's wild hooks, though unpolished, began to slip through, landing with enough force to remind Watson of the danger he was facing.
Oh, Jim, it's the fighters for that to happen. Yeah, well, this is actually...
In the fourth round, Ben came out looking as dangerous as ever. A clean left hook clipped Watson, forcing him to cover up high under the pressure. But Watson, ever the thinker, used a clever shoulder barge to create space in close range. Seizing the moment, he unloaded with heavy, thudding shots that shook the Dark Destroyer to his core. Ben looked rattled, but his fighting spirit refused to fade. In the final moments of the round, he rallied, coming back strong to remind everyone why he was feared in the ring.
Why he's done that. Oh, what a return. He bounced off the ropes as he did with Anthony Logan almost. What an incredible... Inside the minute then for this round.
The fifth round was the breaking point, the moment the fight went from intense to downright brutal. If it had been a war before, now it was a blood-soaked battle for survival.
He's now starting to try and open up a bit, Watson. He's got fourth round here. Okay, Watson still...
The two men stood toe-to-toe, branding in close quarters, fighting for control of the center of the ring. Watson abandoned his shell defense, choosing to meet Ben head-on. Meanwhile, Ben kept bobbing and weaving at the waist, trying to dodge and create openings. But Watson's jab began to find its mark. Straight punches followed, snapping Ben's head back. Sagging against the ropes under the assault, it looked like Ben was done.
Ben's been knocked out and he's come back to take control of the action again. I don't know if this is a bit of acting here. That didn't look particularly a half punch, but the Ben looks badly shaken.
But just when it seemed over, Ben answered with a thunderous uppercut, flipping the script in an instant.
He's hurt all right, the way he buckled there, but he seems as though he's tempting the man on all the time, doesn't he?
He unleashed a barrage of vicious shots, every punch a head-seeking missile aimed at Watson as he charged forward again. Watson, forced to retreat, returned to his tight defense.
As much as their skill and power. Well, the question...
Late in the round, Watson found a clean, crushing right hand that sent Ben reeling, visibly shaken as the round came to a close.
Doesn't he say, well, you think you've hurt me, how's this? Yeah, well, I think he's trying different...
Round 6, and the tide had fully turned. Ben's power started to fade, his furious pace slowing. His once lethal hooks were now being deflected with ease by Watson's calm, calculated defense. A sneaky looping punch from Watson landed flush, forcing the Dark Destroyer to backpedal, visibly rocked.
That's unusual for Ben really to back away, the man who thrives on his toughness.
The final blow came soon after. Watson, precise as ever, delivered a pinpoint jab that dropped Ben flat.
Oh, he's gone.
There was no coming back. The underdog had shocked the world with one of the best executions of tactics ever seen in the ring.
When did you know that you had him beaten? Well, in the first round. Of course, as early as that, yeah, I knew that would come forward to me. Wife goes, use left hand, open over left hand, everything will fall from now. Everything's fine, now fine.
Watson had not just shocked the world, but proved that skill can beat strength and heart can outlast fury.
But listen, all along you've kept so calm and so cool about the whole thing. You proved a lot of people wrong tonight. I'm asking for to Nigel Benn hero, right? Because they promoted by very well. You know, he came here with one of the hardest fights so far. You know, he was very strong.
It was a night that became part of British boxing history.
I thought it would go my way. Yesterday it didn't.
What kind of man is Michael Watson?
Michael Watson, he's a very, very talented boxer where a lot of people don't, show him that respect, but he's a very good boxer. He stuck to his game plan. I didn't. And he became Commonwealth champion.
Despite the loss to Watson, Nigel Benn would go on to build a more celebrated career. Less than a year later, he captured the WBO middleweight title, but his reign was short-lived, losing the belt in a legendary clash with another British great, Chris Eubank. Refusing to be deterred, Benn moved up to super middleweight, where he claimed the WBC title by defeating Italy's Mauro Galvano. This time, Benn's reign was far more substantial. Over the years, he made 9 successful defenses of the title, solidifying his place among the best in the division, before finally losing to Thulani Malina in a razor-thin split decision. For Michael Watson, however, the future would take a darker turn. After his victory over Benn, Watson challenged Chris Eubank for the middleweight title. In a fight many believed he deserved to win, the judges saw it differently, denying him the belt. The rematch was a chance for redemption, but would ultimately change Watson's life forever.
The boxer Michael Watson is having a further operation after his condition deteriorated this afternoon.
Battling with everything he had, Watson left his heart in the ring, only to face the devastating consequences of the sport. The fight ended in tragedy, with Watson suffering a severe brain injury that left him in a coma. While he survived, the extensive damage marked the heartbreaking end of one of boxing's most promising careers.